February 25th at 8:28 p.m. would be the last time I would get a text message from Cousin Nick. Man, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video, man. Welcome back to the channel. This is a sad one, man. This is a personal one. By the time you watch this, man, it'll be 1 year to the day that my cousin Nick committed suicide. Nick battled he battled suicide, man, for a number of years. You know, into our early 20s. Let's rewind, man. Let's get into how I met Nick. I met Nick in the 5th grade, Palm Springs Elementary School. And I remember when they brought him in, the teacher made this big old announcement. They were like, "Hey class, we got a new student coming in. You know, he's a bit troubled, but you know, we're gonna welcome him with kindness," and all this other stuff. And so they bring in this blonde-haired, blue-eyed kid. Didn't think nothing of it, you know. Shortly after that, we wound up moving from Grandma's house over to Buckley Avenue. And Nick was the first dude I met in that neighborhood, man. So, like I said, it was my 5th grade year. And I remember he pulled up in front of the crib, man, on a bike. He was like, "Oh, hey, man, you live here now?" I'm like, "Yeah." So, man, Nick was actually the first dude that showed me how to get in trouble, man. Man, every day after school, man, we would pick, man, big old oranges off this lady's tree. Man, we would chuck him at this dude's windows, man, and take off running down the street. You know, Nick was the first dude I ever smoked weed with. Nick had a dad named Jim, and so Nick would always steal some weed from his stepdad Jim. And you know anything about Nick, man, he was a computer wizard, man. Like, this dude was, he was dangerous with a computer. And so Nick would take computer paper and we would go to the hills, man. It was back in the days, man. It was behind the Burger King over there on Congress. It used to be like a dump site, man, where they would just have big old mounds of dirt, man. We called it the hills. So we would go back there, and Nick's rolling up his stepdad's weed and computer paper, and we go back there and get faded, man. But it was crazy, man. Nick was a genius. Like I said, man, that dude was dangerous with a computer, man. That dude could build it from scratch, and man, I'll never forget it, man. Remember one day he calls me over to the house, and he goes, "Hey, stay right here. I want to show you something." I'm like, "All right." So you can see a top view of his house. This dude runs outside, looks up into the sky, and starts waving. And I'm like, bruh, I don't know if that dude hacked into a satellite or what, but man, Nick was dangerous with a computer, man. But like I said, he was smart, man. He was crazy smart. And very brilliant. very bright. Uh, Nick had vices, man. He had a number of vices, man. He couldn't get off the drink. Developed a cocaine habit. And like I said, man, to our early 20s, early to mid 20s, man. Around the age of 25, 26, man, is when I started to get my act together, change my life around. Um, had fell head over heels into the church, and I remember one day Nick calls me. Now this is 2013. Nick calls me, and he said, "Cuz, man, I'm finna end it, man. I'm finna kill myself." So I'm like, nah, hey, bro, like, where you at? Like, man, I'll come scoop you up. Like, bro, don't talk like that, bro. I'll be right there. So I shoot over there. We riding around. We go get coffee. We talking. You know what I'm saying? Trying to give him encouragement. Cause he's got 4 kids. I'm trying to just, encourage him. Hey, man, you got kids that they need their dad. Like, you know, and Nick would tell me all the time, man. He's like, "Cuz, I can't. I try." He's like, I just can't, man. I can't stop the cocaine. I can't stop drinking." I'm like, "Cuz, like you gotta go to rehab. Like, man, whatever we gotta do, man, to get you right, bro." And I said, "Cuz," I said, "Man, let's go to church, man. Let's check it out." So he says, "All right." I said, "Hey, you know what? Better yet," I said, "Man, how about we get your wife and your boys to go with us, man?" And he's like, "Hella freeze over before that happens." So I'm like, "Man, watch." So we go back to the house. I'm talking to his wife, because they was arguing because, Nick was tore up, man. And I said, "Look, y'all ain't even got to sit next to each other." I said, "Man, look, let's just get into the church house." You know what I'm saying? And it'll be good, man. You get your mind off it, So they start getting ready. So we're heading out to church, man. So at that time, they had lived in Lantana Cascades, that trailer park. You know, so we pull up to the entrance. We caught the red light. So there's a car in front of us, and so the light turns green. So the car in front of us starts easing out. So we start easing out. Boom. T-bone. I was in a big old Chevy work van, man. The car went right through us, spun us around. And I look over, man. Nick's whole face is bloody. I'm just like dazed, like. So they take us to the hospitals. He goes to one, I go to this other one. And that was one of my first experiences, man, trying to help Nick, man, not to commit suicide. Cause like I said, man, that dude was crazy smart, crazy brilliant. But man, I don't know why, man, the enemy wanted him so bad. And so some time had went by. He had gotten into an altercation, man. Nick had got shot. It's like, bro, what the hell, man? So let Nick tell it. He's at the gas station getting some alcohol. This one young lady had dropped her Dutchess, so he goes to hand it to her. Boyfriend gets mad. She gets in the car now. Now he's hot because the boyfriend's hot. Nick runs up to the car, Dude pops Nick from the car. He survived. After that, man, like he just had non-stop health issues, man. In and out of the hospital, man. Wouldn't stop drinking, wouldn't stop partying, wouldn't stop doing cocaine, and man, we would like it was kind of like wasn't an off and on thing, you know. It's just life happens, man. We all got families, and so we would link up periodically, you know what I mean, and another time I see Nick, he got a humongous scar on his wrist, man. And I'm like, and he's like, cuz, like, bro, I talked to his wife, and she's like, man, like, he does that suicide stuff all the time. I'm like, man, like, what can we do to help this dude, man? Like, you try to minister to him, and you know what I'm saying, and like we had brought him into the church, and he was the soundboard guy for the production part, and it seemed to be doing good, you know what I'm saying? But man, let me tell you something, man. Mental health and addiction is a huge, huge thing to overcome, man. And I remember talking to Nick, man, on several occasions. And he straight up told me, he's like, cuz, I don't know what the devil want with me, bro. And it's like, man, you dog, like, fight it, bro, fight it. And he's like, man, I try, man, but I can't. And he's like, bro, he's just like, dog, real talk, man, I don't even be thinking about my kids, bro. Like, I just be wanting to end the pain and the suffering, man. And I'm like, and so with mental health, man, you never really know how dark it is. And so, February 25th, 8:28 p.m., I would receive the last text message that I got from my cousin. And he said, hey. I replied, yo. And so my cousin Audrey calls me the next day. She says, you heard about Nick? I said, he texted me yesterday. I texted him back. What happened? She said he hung himself. So I reached out to his wife. She told me that day, her and the boys had plans to go fishing. And because Nick had already decided to get drunk, get loaded, that of course started an argument. So she took the boys fishing and Nick stayed home. And so around 11 o'clock when they returned, Nick had hung himself with an extension cord. His wife and his boys had to see him like that. That is the last image his sons will see. And so, man, I just want to say to y'all, man, out there listening, that, hey, man, listen, don't be ashamed to ask for help. Don't be ashamed to get help, man. Because, with what he did, man, his boys will never unsee that. Having to come home from a fishing trip that their father should have went on, to come home to have an extension cord wrapped around his neck. Man, listen, you don't want to do that to your family. And listen, I know the mind can be a dark place. But man, there's people that love you. There's people that care about you. So please, man, reach out and get help. Take advice. Because what you do doesn't just affect you. It affects your loved ones, your friends, your family. I wish I'd have called him instead of text. But he's dead and he's gone now. So I ain't gonna sit here and be like shoulda, coulda, woulda. But that's the purpose for this video, man. It's because you know what? You're still here and I'm still here. And I want to let you know that, hey, man, listen, if you're going through something, and you can reach out to me, man. I'll give you my personal cell phone and we can get prayed up. We can go get you some help, man, together. I want to let you know, man, that, hey, listen, Big Bro's here. You're not alone. You do not have to suffer in silence. You do not have to go through this mental torture alone. And if nobody said it to you today, and I want to tell you, man, I love you. I appreciate you being here. There's a reason why you came across this video. Because, hey, man, those thoughts came across my mind before, too. I remember putting a loaded pistol in my mouth. But then I thought, man, what would I do to my son? To come home and have to see my brains blowed out on the wall. What would I do to my wife? You know what? We all have bad days. And so, man, listen, please, get help. Reach out to somebody, man. And just know that you're not alone. You might feel alone up here. But brother, sister, you are not alone, man. So please, man, don't make something permanent and it destroys so many lives, man. Because you're worth it. You're valuable. You're valued. You're cherished. You're loved. Nick is loved. It hurts that he's not here. But in honor of him, I want to tell you, man, that you're not alone. And let's get you some help. Big Bro.